Aloha, welcome to Java. Thank you for joining me. This is for Wednesday, it's June 5th, 2024. We are expecting a lot of market data today. There's quite a bit going on. So let's go right into our main risk indicators at the moment. So we're watching the MMRI has pulled back quite a bit. It's at the 281.8 right now. I want to kind of emphasize that even though it has pulled back, this is high risk territory. And in my opinion, we're still in prime environment for what we call a black swan event. So this is an unexpected event, an occurrence that could move the market rapidly. So going into our fear greed indicator, the two main factors in the markets are fear or greed. These are the drivers. Fear is much stronger, and we're heading deeper into the fear territory at the moment. So primed for a large move in the markets as fear increases. So I just want to make you aware of this. So going into what is behind the MMR and watching this risk indicator is the 10-year yield and the relative strength of the dollars. Yesterday was a very volatile day, and we did watch basically as these two increased and they put a lot of pressure in stocks. However, toward the end of the day, kind of rallied into the close. Right now, we're watching cryptocurrency, specifically Bitcoin and Ethereum, have recovered, and they're in a strong territory over 70,000. Now, running into resistance, however, if they break through that, there's quite a bit more room to run. So Bitcoin kind of acting a little bit more as a safe haven asset along with gold at the moment. So we're watching commodities increase. I'm going to go a little bit more into oil because it's a bit of an outlier. So I'll speak about that in a minute. So with right now, we're looking at stocks are in the green. Futures are looking green also. These are basically on the expectations of a rate cut for the European Central Bank. So that's the sentiment right now. European Central Bank's cut, it will boost the market. So already in Europe, their market is up quite a bit. But that's not on fundamentals. That's on the fact that there is easy money and basically it's inflationary. So because the euro is losing power, it's giving a boost to the stock markets. And then also there's kind of a sympathy move in the United States stock markets now, in that they expect the United States will cut next. So Wall Street stocks ended slightly higher, also with weak jobs. So because people are not having as many jobs, watching more jobs reports, that sector getting weak means Fed will cut along with ECB is the expectation. That's not a given. It's an expectation giving a boost to the markets. So again, we've got the real economy, the GDP. Atlanta Fed's forecast slashed our GDP, and this is showing underlying weakness. So this is not a good rally to be looking at. We've got increased inflation, the CPI and the PPI. Also, these are not good signs. However, those do give boost to capital fleeing to other places, so the stock market going up. We've got with this story also in the center is Benzinga talking about the New York Stock Exchange. There is now, with the Texas Stock Exchange, going fully electronic, and it will be headquartered in downtown Dallas. So with all of this, we've got a little bit of competition coming in here for our stock exchanges. We'll see how that goes on. The calendar and earnings, we are looking at inflation numbers, also crude numbers. And as I said, go into that a little bit more in a minute. But manufacturing is down. Thursday, we're getting continuing jobless claims. That's going to be huge. Watching that, so I'm putting that in today. So what is going on here in the back end? European Central Bank rate cut. They're expecting that to boost the Eurozone economy as spending on easy money. We've also got Bank of Canada expected to cut there as well. So these are earnings we're expecting from these companies. Watching some of these today. Dollar Tree are also in the news, and let's get into that. So At the very top, we've got April jobs openings falling to a 3-year low. So the real economy is cooling off. Less jobs, there will be tightening up of spending. With this dollar tree, which is on the lower end, a less expensive part of the market, they're looking to sell a struggling part of the family dollar business. So the sector getting hit. We've also got Lowe's and Home Depot. They're talking about the recession has hit them. So these are home improvement stores during the pandemic, all the things that happening. Everybody got shut in. They did major, basically, upgrades to the homes, a lot of home sales. Now they are experiencing large downturn. Oil. Oil is at a near 4-month low on OPEC plus supply outlook because they are looking at trying to cut supplies. And they're saying the US has large amount of stocks. United States used to be energy independent. There was a large shift with the petrodollar. 1971 going off of this with that shock. A lot of things happened with this. However, what I want to bring up is that on the 9th is the expiration of that agreement. And the new Saudi Crown Prince has already said he's not going to renew that agreement. So off that petrodollar, killing that, this is huge. There's a whole story behind that, but I will not go into that at this moment. I just want to say that oil is the underpinning for inflation. So a lot of this in the long run, while the prices are down right now, it's basically oil down largely on this news. Prices could go down a bit more, but long term, inflation will increase. So oil going up, very volatile. Looking at military also needs oil to run, and so do the large banks. So oil is not just your normal commodity. Large manipulation there as well as far as pricing goes. So we've got China cutting ties with the largest US treasuries in history, basically on the other side of the dollar, also dumping dollars. So we're going to watch a lot more of this playing into dollar weakness. I may do something on this entirely separately, not prior to markets open. So going back to today and the markets opening today, still watching the GameStop. So I'm catching a lot of backlash on this with the whole GameStop thing. Everybody at Roaring Kitty has a lot of firm believers. I just want to remind you who he is. You think that he fights for you. He doesn't even know you. This a trader. He's a trader from long back. So yes, fighting the stock exchange, the system, beating hedge funds, but it's a large legacy also to be the next Jesse Livermore. If you don't know who he is, please look him up. Very interesting man, but this is also an ego play in this as well. I believe he's got large holding in options. Options are not long-term holdings. They are meant to trade. They are by definition timing. If you don't understand these, please look into these. Feel free to reach out to me on this. This is just my opinion on these. Of course, you're welcome to have your own, but just in this section, as far as trying to beat out hedge funds, yes, I support that. There's a large amount of manipulation with other things, but just urging caution. If you're in on this trade, understand it must unwind in order for it to have the success on certain things. People are telling me GameStop could be Mag 7. I don't know about that. If in order to do that, the business model behind it will have to shift. They will have to purchase into AI longer term electronic and move out of their basic business model at the moment. They do hold large cash reserves, which is also good for a stock in this environment. However, they're going to have to move that and show an investment component in order to last long term for anything more than a political move. That's all I'm saying. So as far as stock, you can purchase it as far as the game behind it, the business, how it builds. If you're purchasing it just for the holdings, assets, money, or political moves, just make sure of your exit plan regardless of what the reason is you're purchasing it for. Make sure you have the exit plan that aligns with that. So moving on, we've got other things that are really in headwinds. We've got warnings now as America warned of a terror attack is much more likely as there is a surge in threats. We've known this along with the immigration policy or lack of, basically a lot of illegal immigration happening. I believe legal immigration is wonderful. Uh, Illegal immigration is a major threat. Night and day, cannot stress that enough. So we've got NATO may drop plans to get US troops to the front line amid these World War III fears. These plans are already in the works, and US troops are already there. Spoke about this yesterday, but it's going to increase. Financially, we've got delegates from over 130 countries going into St. Petersburg. They're having an economic forum right now. So kind of drawing up more baselines. We're in more wars than one: physical wars, currency wars, and trade wars. Right now, we're losing to China in trade wars. We are losing on sanctions. We are losing in currency wars, losing ground to BRICS that is only backed by the United States military, which is also what backed the petrodollar and why it's being dropped. So all of these fronts facing some headwinds. We've now got Lavrov saying that any French military in Ukraine would be a legitimate target. So you can expand that because anyone basically firing into Russian soil becomes a legitimate target. We've also got a NATO member now declaring their intent to join BRICS. This is Turkey. They're huge for multiple reasons of a bridge country, not just physical land bridge, also positioning is very key with this in the physical wars, but also as far as a currency bridge as well as negotiations. So last thing I'd like to mention, why do I have these happy cows up here in the corner, is to remind you of food self-sufficiency. There is an attack on our food system from within the government as well. And with that, I'd like to go into our farm, a little bit lighter area. These are sunchokes. Their name is sunchokes or Jerusalem artichoke. They're actually a native of North America. They are a relative of the sunflower, but they grow these tubers, and they're they're rapid growing. They have a lot of vitamins. They're very good for the immune system, but also your digestive system, and they are a staple crop. So if you learn to grow these, they reproduce rapidly, and you could basically live off these very well. They grow in pretty poor environments. They just need sun. So depending on the area you're going, might want to consider these. Besides, they have beautiful flowers like sunflowers. So with that, I want to urge you all to become self-sufficient again. And until I see you again, my friends, stay free. One other thing I want to mention, we will have Discord today after Craig Manarino's live. I hope you catch that. Thanks again, my friends. Bye-bye.